And we're live.
Hey, we did it.
Yo.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm back.
Welcome back,
Welcome
Doc.
back.
Hey, sorry about missing last week, considering it was the Game Awards.
You didn't miss
No
much.
big deal. I think
That's kinda what I
actually we
figured.
tallied up and you got most of them correct. You beat both of us by like one,
1
wasn't
point.
it?
Yo.
Yeah, like Paul and I tied and you beat us by one, which is weirdly close. We're all together.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. Yeah, congrats on that.
Hilarious. Thank you.
It was
think it was, like,
Hades
an
winning
esports.
Best Indie. Was the only one that
Oh.
you got that somebody else didn't also like have us agree answer.
Oh, that was my only.
That was the one that pushed it over. Otherwise, like you
Wait.
two would agree on something, Sean and I would, you and I would for like basically all of the other ones.
Wait, what did you guys vote for on Indie then?
I think I wanted
I'm assuming I probably
Spiritfarer.
said like Among Us or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think Sean did Among Us. Or something like that, yeah.
You know, Among Us is a fair choice too. That's fair.
Yeah,
And
there
they
were
got a
some
couple awards
heavy
to be fair,
hitters.
so
Heavy hitters.
It won a
for
bunch
this.
of awards. Not as much as The Last of Us, but it won a few
no,
awards for sure.
my God, Last of Us.
Before we get into all the game talk though, Paul, I came
Yeah.
to you with a gift of Ted Lasso is a show worth watching,
Sure.
and it sounds like you watched it.
Yeah, it's too short, man. It took one night. Like it's only 10
Well, it's
episodes.
10 episodes, like I don't know
that
if
are
that's
half an
short.
hour. It's very short. Yeah. It's too short because that is such a delightful show.
It's just so good, right?
And it's just I like how every character is written in that show. Like some of them are kind of conniving and shitty, and some of them are like wholesome or whatever. But like they feel like real people. They're not just like I'm the evil person that's always evil because evil. Like they have like they're like hurt and damaged people, and that like they come around and they have
They're like
ups
real
and downs.
characters. It reminds me of
it's very
like
good.
Sex Education, that show where it's like
Yeah.
every character is just written so well.
Yeah. And I mean Ted Lasso himself is just like he carries that show. It's very good.
Doesn't Sudeikis do such a good job?
Yeah.
There's a lot of great characters. Like Nate the Great, love that guy. Like you come out of that show being like, I have like 5 characters that I just love every time they're gonna say something because it's gonna leave me with like a big old smile on my face.
Honestly, there's only kind of one shitty character, and he's supposed to be shitty because he's an arrogant prick. Like that's his whole thing.
Jamie?
Yeah. He's just
but then he also has like a totally like deep character to himself and whatnot, and there's like some real character development going on with that and it's fantastic. Holy smokes, that
it's
show
one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. Just straight out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's pretty crazy. Like it came out of nowhere, and it's like on the top of like all the like what shows from 2020 do you need to watch, and it deserves it. Like it is such a funny and wholesome show.
Honestly, it's not that like even we wanted to binge it or anything. It's just that we couldn't stop watching because it just felt good to watch. It was just like a nice little funny thing that had genuine laughs in it, good writing, good characters, and like none of it, at no time does it feel like, oh, things are going to go really, really bad. Like at worst, they're going to go bad, but then there's going to be a moment of like understanding because that's what he does.
Yeah. Do you have a like a favorite episode?
Probably.
The one that stands out to me, I think it's episode 4. It's the one where his family comes to visit him.
Yeah, that one hurt a little
That
bit.
one hurt, but it's like it's so
Yeah.
well done. There's some really good moments in that one.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there.
Danny Rojas, Football is Life.
Oh my god,
That
he's
guy's
so
great.
good. He's so happy.
Yeah. Football's Life.
Yeah,
Or
he's
the one episode where they're like, this room is haunted. We need to fix that. It's like, where did this come out of nowhere?
Yeah.
What is this episode?
Yeah.
Another super heart like touching one as well.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't recommend that show enough. It's on Apple TV Plus if people are wondering how to get a hold of it. I think it's worth like drop the $5 for a month to binge that, then cancel your subscription.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Or if you could get a free trial, or There's other ways to get things on the internet if you know where to look. It's worth it. It's
I mean, that goes without saying. It's the internet.
Mm-hmm. It's super worth it. And like I think you were saying last week, and then I was saying after watching it, it's just nice to have a show that isn't just like beating you over the head with depression or like really, really terrible things happening or COVID talk, or like it's just completely like agnostic of all bad things, really. It's just so nice. Wholesome comedy.
Really good. For sure.
Yep.
Other than that, what have you guys been up to for the last week or 2 weeks as it's been?
Not really all that much. We've been working on bathroom renovation stuff, so we're getting our the bathroom in our master bedroom redone.
Okay,
so we've been checking out, tile stores and flooring stores and getting stuff ordered in for that.
Sure.
Been working a lot, recording a lot. That's why I missed the podcast last week, is I was in like a 6-hour recording session, and I was like, I can't right now. I need to eat. So that's why I missed the podcast.
Sure. Anything you can talk about, or not really? Not yet.
Nothing yet. Just know that there's going to be a lot of me on YouTube next year at this rate.
Okay.
Based on how much we just recorded.
Did something like facilitate this change, or just wanted to?
Just a lot. Just a lot.
Okay.
Sure.
Right on. I watched Spider-Man 1. 2002 Spider-Man 1 again on the weekend.
One?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you Tobey Maguire
for?
Yeah. So with all the talk of like, Spider-Man 3, the next one sounds like they're doing a live action Spider-Verse. Everyone's kind of coming back, whatnot. My girlfriend hasn't seen the Sam Raimi trilogy.
Right.
Okay.
She also hasn't seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, and she can't remember any of Amazing Spider-Man 1.
So you're
probably
going to
go through all of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was like, you should see the Sam Raimi one. Like those first two movies, like at one point they were like the best superhero movies we had.
Yep.
2 is really good.
Yep. 2's still good. Yep.
So we're gonna probably watch that one this weekend. That first movie, it looks old.
Yeah.
The computer graphics
looks like 2000, 2001.
Yeah. When he like first gets his powers, and it's anytime he's like Spider-Man, it's like dark for the most part, and they put like a CG guy, and it looks so bad. A lot of like 90s haircuts.
Sure.
All over that.
Yeah.
Like Flash looks like a goof with his like slicked up hair and whatnot. Also weird that they like replaced that actor with Topher Grace in the third movie.
Yeah.
But that the third movie is a whole other thing. And I had to basically kind of explain to her like, hey, so what's different in this is typically Spider-Man can't shoot webs out of his arms. He makes webs blasters and
sure.
Yeah, there's J. Jonah Jameson. He's great.
Yep.
You saw him in Far From Home, and that's why everyone was freaking out over that.
Sure.
But it's still just a good movie. William Dafoe like carries that movie. He's so great. I think Tobey Maguire
over the top.
I don't know if Tobey Maguire is like a good actor.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well, he was a good Peter Parker, but a bad Spider-Man. And then was it Andrew Garfield was the other way around? He was a great Spider-Man, but he was a bad Peter Parker.
I think I've heard that. I actually just really like Andrew Garfield, just kind of in general, and I like his acting. But Tobey Maguire, I was like, just on the IMDb while watching it, I was like, what has this guy done? And it's like not a lot. He has not really done anything since the Spider-Man movies. Maybe he doesn't even have to. He probably made a bank on those.
He's probably. I thought he'd taken a break from acting, honestly, because I barely remember him doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he'll be back in the new one.
His best role was the creepy dude from Sin City.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in Sin City.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The one with the glasses that like
has
claws or something.
Oh right. Yeah. Yes, you're right. If I remember, it's a small role, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not even like the main villain.
It's a fight, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. That's true. I do often get him and Topher Grace mixed up. I don't know if that's because they were both in the third one. I feel like they just both kind of occupy similar spaces in my head.
Nerdy 90s actor.
Yes, skinny white boy.
Yeah.
Roughly around the same age, I guess. Topher Grace has done a bunch since. I don't know. They always just kind of occupy that same space. So, seeing the chat, that Tobey Maguire got really into high stakes poker. So there you go. Okay.
I mean, more power to him, but
yeah. All right. Let's do the podcast. It is December 17th. This is the Top Down Perspective, and I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
We got to talk about still the hottest game going on right now. So what have you been playing?
Nothing but Cyberpunk 2077.
Right on.
Right. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm playing on a decent computer rig, the PC port, and the problems that break the game have been 1 in total. There's still lots of bugs, but I haven't had many problems with the game, technically. So that's where I'm coming at it from. This would be a different conversation if I was playing it on console, and I feel bad for people that pre-purchase it on console.
I'm still playing it on Xbox. I have really not played that much. I am sprinting through 13 Sentinels.
Sure.
But I'm like 6 or so hours in. I've definitely had some bugs. Nothing game breaking.
Yep. You are also playing it on the console that works. Like, I kind of wish one of us was playing it on the PS4 so they could be like, what the fuck, or something, but we don't have that representation here, unfortunately.
Oh, is it worse on PlayStation?
Yeah.
Oh, we have conversations in the news about PlayStation right now. But
so like, it's bad on PS5 because it's just kind of unoptimized, but apparently on PS4 it's broken to shit. Like, it's barely playable, and that's really too bad. That sucks.
Apparently same with the Xbox One as well.
Yeah, same problems. So knowing that, I'm having a lot of fun with this broken pile of shit. I think I heard it best from somebody who said the game is about 80% done. That's probably about right. There's a lot of things that are missing, like good AI pathing. I think there's no actual models of people rendered in vehicles in the city until like you go up to their car, because a lot of times you just don't see anybody unless they're T-posing outside of the car while it's driving by. There's no motorcycles randomly in the city. There are parked like littered around, but there's never anybody driving motorcycles because they didn't want to render people on a vehicle in the city. There's a distinct lack of weird like things in the environments here and there. There's a lot of pop-in in a bunch of different city areas. There's a lack of cosmetics that is kind of a bummer to me, because like you look around the city and you're just like, okay, there's like a lot of cool looks you can do or whatever, and while those pieces of clothing and stuff exist as armor, there's no like transmog system or something where you can like kind of set a look, so you always have that weird MMO problem of this is the better thing, so I look like a trash can now rather than like a cool cyberpunk person because armor is better. The enemy AI is basically non-existent, which makes some of the more important fights feel like kind of a joke when I can literally go up the stairs, jump over them, and they are literally stuck in the stairs now, and I can just shoot them from like at the bottom of the stairs while they can't move. The gunplay,
anything that bad. I've had the only thing combat that's messed up for me is I had like a not a boss character, but like one of like a heavy dude show up from an elevator, but he was stuck in the elevator.
Okay. Yeah.
I just kind of shot him a whole bunch, and that was the end of the fight. I don't know if it was supposed to get really hard at the end there, but it broke, so I moved on.
Sure. Yep. The gunplay's bad. It just feels bad. I guess like it gets better if you get a gun that can one-shot enemies like a sniper rifle from a headshot, because you only need the one shot at that point, and that's fine.
Been enjoying shotguns.
Okay. I've been playing kind of like I wanted to build kind of a stealth hacker, like, sort of thing. So I basically have nothing in, like, what would be the equivalent of dex and strength in this game is body. I can't remember. Technical ability is one of the things. This, like, the crafting tree, I don't have anything in. I have everything basically in hacking and stealth stuff. So I've been having a lot of fun because I'm able to just, like, get into people's brain and basically explode their brain or, like, stun them or blind them and then, like, fuck them up with whatever I have equipped at the moment or whatever. But a lot of the times I'm just kind of skulking around, taking dudes out, like, one by one from the shadows, and it's super, super fun. There hasn't been a single terminal I haven't been able to hack and get a bunch of money from because I've been keeping up with that primarily. That game just feels so fucking cool when you're a hacker person. I can't imagine playing that game as just a person who's shooting because I really don't like the shooting. The melee is a little bit better, but it's kind of boring also. I'm not a huge fan of the melee. I will say that the parry system is surprisingly really good and kind of necessary to, like, get good at for some of those weird boxing matches that you have to do around the city. The driving is fucking terrible. I hate the driving in the game. Except now that I have a motorcycle, it's a little bit better because it doesn't do the GTA thing of you fall off the motorcycle. You can smack into stuff and you're still on it because it acts like a car. That doesn't explode.
I found the driving fine once I switched to third-person camera. I'm just bad at first-person driving.
Sure. For the first-person driving, I don't know that that's possible. It made me sick doing it, so I also use third person. And then, of course, there's the weird performance issues of even if you have a really good card, you can't play this in 4K 60 frames. If you have the best card on the market, you can't. It's not optimized for it. 1080, it's fine, but if you have, like, the best of the best, it kind of sucks that you can't play this ultra 4K at 60 on the best systems out there steadily. And if you have a lower... So I have a buddy who has a system that, by all rights, should be able to run this pretty okay because it's maybe, let's say, a step or two above the minimum specs. So not, like, great or anything, but only about 5 to 7 years old or something, right? Not too old. He can barely run this thing in windowed at low settings because it's just so, like, laggy and shitty for him. So I don't know. It's one of those weird things of you almost have to get it on PC, see if you can run it, and then refund it if you can't, because everybody's PC is acting different with it as well. There's even reviewers who are like, no, I can't get past this or whatever. There's been little hacks in the INI file where a big problem that's happened also is that the settings have defaulted so that PC is using the same amount of RAM and, like, resources as the PlayStation and Xbox. So you have to go into the INI file to change that to be like, hey, I actually have a, like, video card that can handle this, so bump it up so that it has allocated more resources. Just weird little shit like that. There's been a whole bunch of, like, forum posts and stuff on people optimizing how to play this game, which shouldn't be the case on a AAA release like this at all. Everything about this game just feels like it needed at least another year cooking, and then maybe it would have been fine. And that's a bummer.
Doesn't this always happen with CD Projekt Red, though? Like, even since Witcher 1, I've always heard their games are buggy messes right at launch.
This is a special kind of buggy mess, for sure. It's way worse than the Witcher games, even. Like, a lot of times things are just...
That's impressive.
It's actually, people have been saying it's kind of Bethesda-y. It's super true. It has the Bethesda problem of being just kind of like a giant piece of shit, but it's fun. So, like, you want to keep playing it.
So you are actually enjoying the game.
I love it. I absolutely love the game. It's just that it's buggy and messy, and everybody who is having problems with, like, it's hard to reconcile in my mind that I'm enjoying this thing that fucked over a lot of people, that they flat out lied about with some stuff, and the whole crunch thing behind, like, everything about the background of what this game is almost makes me feel bad for enjoying it as much as I am, because those are all valid complaints. But at the end of the day, I really like the world that they built. I think Night City is one of the coolest open world cities I've ever played a game in. I really like the side missions. I've been doing nothing but side missions because every side mission actually has like a story and writing in it. It's not just the simple like kill all these guys and get me a thing. They all have like a reason for why you're doing stuff in that world. There's so many good things about this game, and that's why it sucks that it's like I can't really share this with people without knowing that there's really bad shit in here. Like there's that in a lot of cases, some people can't even play this fucking thing. And then I don't know, man. It's weird. I'm really liking it, but that's because I am fortunate enough to have something that can run it kind of at what, like, roughly the best it can run at right now. Yeah, I don't know. And like, this game was never going to be...
My version is runnable.
Sorry?
I'm gonna say my version is runnable.
Sure.
I have no game-breaking bugs or anything like that. Like, I can play through it. I'm in a weird position. It's like, should I wait for that first patch that's coming like a month from now?
Yeah, that's the thing I'm thinking of too. Is like, I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I'm fine. This is the type of game that they can either Fallout 76 it, ignore it, and it gets worse and kills off a large part of their player base, or they can No Man's Sky it, and in a year or two, it's one of the best games ever created. Who knows? Like,
I mean, I'm assuming they will fix it with how big this thing is.
Yeah, the No Man's Sky plan's more better because, like, Witcher 3 again had a buggy launch, but they cleaned up and got a lot of Game of the Year awards.
Yep, true. I mean, I hope so. I also kind of feel like maybe they're just biting off a little more than they can chew. Like, a lot of
they extremely did.
A lot of this stuff is not in their wheelhouse, right? Like, it would be cool if there was like a parkour system in this, which there really isn't. Titanfall games, like the Titanfall games and Apex or whatever, they know how to do movement. The shooting, like, I kind of wish that like they were able to do Call of Duty, even Borderlands style shooting. Like, it feels a little bit off. The melee, it would have been nicer. It feels like they're trying a whole bunch of stuff, and maybe for a lot of them, this is their first time doing some of these systems that like other games have just done better, and I don't know, it's weird because it feels like an older game, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like a game that's been in development for 4 to 8 years.
No, because it has been.
Yeah. So, a lot of that stuff doesn't bug me too much. I just think it would have been cooler if like it felt like a more modernized game in how it plays with all the really cool story and world building stuff in it. It's not a game breaker by any means. It just kind of wish it like played a little bit better, but still been having fun with it. I wish it was a little more cyberpunky in some of the stuff you could do. The fact that I don't have a flashlight or night vision is ridiculous. Because there's a lot of real dark areas in that game. Really dark areas. Yeah, I don't know. The fact that I can't get a haircut or change my hair is really weird. That's like a pretty basic open world thing.
Yeah, that part's kind of weird. I think it's when you call your car, it's pretty hilarious because it works like the horses, like calling your horse in Assassin's Creed. It'll kind of appear somewhere and then run towards you. But you can be in like a spot where it's like a car really shouldn't be here, but it wants to, and it'll just spawn in and just ram around different stuff. So it's like, cool, I got my car. It's pretty much on fire at this point because it rammed into so many stuff. But it's here. Thanks, car.
Yep.
It is so weird. But it's kind of one of those fun bugs. So,
future cops are the worst. I know what they were trying to do, where there's kind of like, you can almost, I understand this idea in the future that you can almost like have thought crimes happening or whatever, and like the cops can be ready before you do something. These cops just like, if you do anything illegal, they literally spawn from behind you and they start shooting at you. So like you never, ever, ever, ever want to do anything illegal, which is fine, kind of.
Don't break the law, son.
But like, it's even when nobody else is around. I shot a dude who's a scumbag in like his apartment in a closed room with nobody else around. A cop was outside waiting for me, shooting at me. So I just had to reload the safe because you can't get rid of them.
Always watching, man. That's our future. That's the cyberpunk future. Cameras everywhere.
Sure. It's bad gameplay. Chipped. It's bad gameplay. It just is. Like, yeah, I don't know. And that seems basic too, because if you are able to run away just a little bit, you can like shoot at the cops, run away a little bit so that they don't see you anymore, do a quick spin around and they'll despawn. Like, because it's a broken game. If there's a car wreck and cars are backed up and you do a few spin arounds, those cars will despawn. People will despawn if you shoot your gun in the air and cause like a mass riot of people like running away and you're not looking at them anymore, they despawn instantly. Just weird shit like that. That's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think it's great. It might even be like a Game of the Year contender in some ways. It's broken. It is a broken pile of shit. And I know it. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing else to talk about with this game without talking about story stuff. The story stuff's great for what it's worth. It's kind of the only cyberpunky, like, real thing that's going on there, with a weird story of weird shit going on that obviously we're not going to talk about because spoilers. But yeah.
Cyber ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. How far did you get into it, Sean?
All right. I'm just after meeting Keanu.
Doesn't no, that means nothing to me. How many hours have you put in?
What? Like 5, 6.
Okay. Gotcha. So you haven't really done like much of the side stuff at all then?
I've been doing just story for the most part.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. John, what have you been up to?
All right, well, I got my PS5 and I got my Xbox in, so I've got hot to the next gen now. Mm-hmm. So of course,
welcome. Are you excited about next gen yet?
Nope. Still not.
I don't even believe you, man. You're playing it. I see you playing it. I don't believe you.
Yeah, but you know what I'm playing on it. We'll talk about it. All right, we'll get there when we get to it. But
I'm seeing a list of good games.
Really? Well, I'm seeing most are good.
Sure.
All right. So as I've talked about in previous podcasts, played through Spider-Man the remaster and then did all the DLC.
Yep.
And said by the end of the DLC, I was a bit burned out. Wasn't sure I was going to give Miles a try.
Yep.
Ended up doing it anyways. So I've played through all of Miles Morales.
Sure.
What do you think?
That is a game.
Oh, you didn't like it? Okay.
Cool.
I mean, it was okay. But also, after having played all of PS4, it's just that again, but with different moves. The story was good. I enjoyed the story a lot.
Sure,
definitely the strong point of it. But also, like, the gameplay was otherwise the same.
Yep.
So that's a great expansion pass for Spider-Man Remastered, and I'm glad that Miles had good representation. I'm glad that the story was great.
Yep.
I'm glad actually it tells its story really well. I'll give it that. The story I think I enjoyed more than Peter's, even though it was much shorter.
Sure.
Yep.
But I got a couple gripes with it. One being that I really hate that they knew the game was short, so they locked things behind New Game Plus.
Oh yeah.
Because I saw that and I'm like, all right, well, never using any of those things.
Yeah.
I didn't like that he had his gadgets weren't as good as Peter's, which makes sense storyline wise, but was a bit of a bummer.
You also get the Venom attacks, which are the
Venom
way
attacks
better than everything.
The Venom attacks are really good.
They're very good.
But man, a lot of the really good tools that Peter has, straight up Miles does not have.
Yeah, it's true. He's lacking in that department.
Yeah. What else was it?
I don't think it makes the combat worse though.
The tools, or
I don't. Even though he doesn't have some of those tools, he gets other tools that Peter doesn't have. That I don't think the combat is worse.
That's true. That's true. Not really. One thing I hate though is that again they brought back that stupid get 100 hit combo trophy and like get 60 hits in this thing, and guns just stop combos. Now Peter had like an ability you could attach that actually kept your combo going. Miles doesn't have that. Straight up. I don't know if they just expected you to just mid combo just turn on camouflage randomly, but like his it was near impossible to even get to 50 half the time.
Oh really? I was gonna say I think I accidentally got to 90 something at one point. Just wasn't even trying.
Peter, I got like 130. Like great, but I had to have that item on. Like Miles, I just could not get the traction I needed because like shots would be faster or I wouldn't see the shot marker on them.
Sure.
Okay. But I liked how they did the like the challenges, like having Hollow Peter train them.
Yeah.
I liked how they actually worked in some like of Peter's villains, but giving Miles his proper ones, including some characters I even recognized from the little bit I know about Miles' story.
Like the final like Peter mission.
Yeah, that one was really cool. Fight. That was actually really neat.
That's really funny.
Yeah, what was your go-to suits? Which suits did you like?
Once I unlocked the Daft Punk one, I stuck with the Daft Punk one. That's like the Miles Morales 2020
pretty cool suit.
Yeah,
that was a pretty cool suit.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's because I just also played through Remastered and all that. I think I kind of went in there with some Spider-Man fatigue.
Sure.
So I was just like, when I was done, I'm like, all right, cool, bye.
Sure. That's not too bad. But I mean,
yeah,
understandable.
I also got like no glitches in my playthrough. With all the cool glitch videos I was seeing online, I had like maybe one, and I don't even remember. It wasn't even that good from what I remember. But like all my glitches were in Remastered. Yeah, actually, people were having shit happening, like turning into the sides of houses. I was disappointed none of that was happening.
Okay, yeah, I didn't have any bugs. Usually, most of the time, people don't want their game to be buggy.
As you can tell, I'm an exception. But yeah, no, that game's all right. Like I would recommend it. Just don't maybe play through all of the previous game right before it.
Sure. Yeah.
Other than that, on my Xbox One X, I've been playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's that game again.
Before you got the new Xbox?
I was playing this before I got the new Xbox, yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that is that game again, just straight up.
Yep.
Nice. Warts and all. It's fun, but I also forgot how frustrating it can be at times.
Yes. True.
Yep. And just really a bummer that you just cannot turn off the music. You think they would have updated that part?
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with the music? I don't remember. Does it have a bad soundtrack? I don't remember.
No, it's got a great soundtrack. It's just all super copyright heavy, so I can't stream it.
Oh. Okay.
So I have to turn off music straight up if I want to do that. Because there is some incidental, like actually made for the game music in there, but you have to turn it all off if you want it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a fun racing game. Still good to see that there. It still plays well.
Yep.
On stream this week, we went through a couple different games for game clearing. On Monday, we beat Alien Infestation. So this was a Metroidvania made by Way Forward based on the Aliens universe.
Mm-hmm.
That game, it's a DS game. It was interesting. Like the actual adventuring around was fine, but like the boss fights were just brutal. And the way the game worked was that you had a group of 4 characters, and each time one got killed off, that was essentially a 1-up. So you would just lose characters and had to go get new ones along the way. And some of the boss fights just completely wiped our party. Like we did not end with the same party we started with. It was rough. But other than the way too spongy, way too brutal bosses, like the game itself was okay.
Right on.
We then played Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, the game for the Game Gear, which is just actually a surprisingly competent 2D fighting game on the Game Gear.
Oh, okay.
It was actually a pleasant surprise. It was really fun. But we also beat it.
How do you stream Game Gear games?
So I have, for my Genesis capture, I have a Mega SG, the analog system, and they recently started selling adapters for other types of Sega games. So Master System and Game Gear can be streamed through this Sega Genesis.
Okay, all right.
So that's how I stream Game Gear stuff now. But we beat that really fast, so we started playing co-op Crackdown 3. And that was a lot of fun, actually.
Okay, yeah.
So Crackdown 3, as far as I'm aware of, is capped at 2.
Hang on, let me pause right there. You said some of your list is good. Are you about to tell me Crackdown 1 is not a good game? Because I thought you were going to say 3 is the bad one here.
Nope, I'm about to tell you Crackdown 1's the bad one.
What?
Yeah. We'll get to it. So playing it co-op was super fun. It was just 2. I think it's the only one of the 3 games that's capped at 2 for co-op. I think. Because I know Crackdown 1 has 4-player support, and I think 2 did too.
I think I've only played them with 2, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that game it was very much the epitome of a piece of candy, because it was fun being like, all right, well, let's go over here. Okay, oh hey, there's some orbs. Oh hey, there's like a mission we gotta do. Oh hey, there's like a bunch of enemies. Oh hey, there's a car. Oh hey, there's more orbs. It just kept going constantly, and it was surprisingly fun. Like we were having a great blast doing it, and we're gonna continue it next week on stream. So next Monday we're gonna continue co-op. But I'd played 2 hours of it on stream, and I just really wanted to play more, but I didn't want to like accidentally make any progress in the main game and screw over the stream. So I decided to go play Crackdown 1 instead, because if you own Crackdown, I don't know if it's just straight up or if you own Crackdown 3, but Crackdown 1 and 2 are free on Xbox.
It's not if you own 3. They just gave those 2 games away.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. I played Crackdown 1, and I was excited for it, because I'm like, all right, everyone tells me this is the better one, so I'm sure I'll enjoy this more. It's going to be rougher on the edges because it's older, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Yeah. And the first zone was actually a lot of fun. The driving was cool. The grabbing the agility orbs was just as addicting as I remembered hearing about. Like, the shooting was all right. A little weird, but okay. I was enjoying it. The first island was great. Then I got to the second island, and everything went bad. I kept dying.
Like any differences.
And the second island, everyone just threw grenades everywhere, and the grenades were killing me instantly. The geography was really hard to climb and grapple around. So much stuff was out of reach. They wanted you to go around and try to find all the other, like, try to get your agility even higher before you could even get like even some of the warp points. Getting to some of the warp points was a pain in the ass. Just like the gang leaders you're trying to kill off are just way more aggressive, and sometimes could just drain your health meter in an instant. Like, it just was a miserable time. Like, Island 2, I just kept dying constantly, which made it hard.
Maybe I'm thinking of 2. Can't you just take them on in any order you want?
You can.
Okay. Maybe you weren't supposed to be at that island yet. Maybe you were supposed to go like the other way.
No, so it starts you in island. So they literally show them in order. So I'm like, okay, island 1, I'm literally here. They told me to go here. And then island 2 was actually the last one I went to originally, because I went to the other island, died instantly. I'm like, okay, let's go to the other island. And it was just as bad. So, yeah, no, like what they wanted you to do specifically was you can fight any of them in any order, but they want you to fight the lower ranked ones first to make the medium rank ones easier. And then fighting the medium rank ones makes the actual kingpin easier. So they wanted you to specifically go in this order. And if you try to break out of it, like, you just died instantly. Like, enemies just melted you like crazy. And that was probably my biggest gripe, is just randomly, like, a random mook could just end your entire health meter. Like, your health restored stupid slow. Everyone could snipe you from miles away with a shotgun. Like, it was not fun. It's definitely smacked of like first game in a series issues. It felt like a grind by the end. And then when I like finally got to the third zone, enemies had heat-seeking rocket launchers, and any explosion at all, if you're within any part of the explosion range, makes you ragdoll, and you can't get out of ragdoll until you've rolled on the ground for a little bit, or it lights you on fire, and then you stay on fire for a while, continuing to take damage till you either die or it wears out. So constantly just being on a skyscraper, getting heat-seeking rocket launched off of the skyscraper, and then having to climb back up the skyscraper, but you can't climb up the specific one you were on. You have to go find the other one that was easier to climb and then make the jumps over and hope that the homing rocket launchers didn't get you again.
Sounds like
I hated
you
it.
need some homing rocket launchers.
I did actually. That was when I had fun. Was when I also had homing rocket launchers. It's a shame that there were usually multiple people that also had homing rocket launchers. So I got one shot in before I got shot 2 times. Fell off a building. Had to find the right building to climb back up, and continued over and over.
I don't remember struggling with one, but that was also a long time ago. So
yeah, no, I by the end of it, I was just like, I'm so done with this. Even like I was so mad. Reese was even like, "Why are you still playing this? You sound like you're angry." I'm like, "I am," but I'm like 2/3 done the game already. Like I would be stupid to stop now. So I beat the whole game in the one day, and then I was like, "Okay, no, this was a bad idea. Did not like it." And then the next day, I'm waiting around for the cat to come inside. I'm like, you know what would be fun to play? Crackdown 2. So I downloaded Crackdown 2 and started playing that last night. But I'm not far enough to say anything. But it already feels better.
That makes sense.
By a lot. So, so we'll see.
The only thing I can remember from these is like they're all the same game. Second one has like zombies.
Yes. The first one also has zombies, but they're to a much, much lower scale.
Okay.
Like the plot of 2 is like, yeah, the zombies from 1 are now the main focus. So
Terry Crews is in 3, right?
Yes.
Terry Crews is in 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Play as Terry Crews, that's right.
Yeah, he's straight up one of the characters you get in 3. Like 3 has, you start with like 6 available operatives, and then there's a bunch of other agent DNA you can find to unlock more.
Right. I think
like,
2 is still
even if you don't pick Terry Crews, yeah, 2 I'm thinking is going to be the one that actually might keep me interested. But like 2 is also the shortest one, which also makes me happy. Well, 3 is the shortest one, but 2 looks like it's going to be the same length.
I think that the downside to all these games though is that they're all the same game. Like they don't do much different with each one. I remember that was the big thing with 3 was like this was in development forever, and it's the same exact game. Like, what happened here?
Yeah, well, it's also 3 different studios. Each studio, like each game's been done by a different studio, which has been interesting to see. Like you can see, like, okay, here's some like improvement. Here's literally the same thing. And it's weird. It's interesting seeing the progression between the 3, despite it being all completely different teams.
Right. 3 was also one of the early like here's a massive game on Game Pass.
Yeah. I mean, 3 was also supposed to be the launch title for the Xbox One X, and that got delayed a bunch. So,
yeah, I think you're right. That's right.
But yeah, no, I'm curious to see if 2 hooks me a bit more than 1 did, because 1 burned me pretty hard by the end. But 3 was still fun, and the start of 2 has been fun so far. So we'll see how this goes by the end. But yeah, no, definitely can't recommend Crackdown 1 right now.
I just don't know why you would play Crackdown 1 right now when you have access to 3.
Well, because I can't play 3 at the moment because it's for stream. So
I'm just saying, like, if you were recommending it to someone, I just don't know why you would not just recommend 3.
Yeah, well, like I said, most people say, like, I had a lot of people say to me, like, Crackdown 1 is the best of the 3, so you should play Crackdown 1. So I figured I would listen to them. And one other thing about Crackdown 1, I didn't realize how ridiculous that game is to 100%. They want you to win every like vehicle race with every vehicle in the game. And there's like 24 different vehicles. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's gross. That's funny, but man.
It's also like, who even has any driving stats? Like, who's
that's
driving?
The other thing. Like, driving is so useless.
Yeah, it's completely the only good thing about driving is when you do get the driving stats and then you get in a car, the car transforms
that was
into
neat.
a better car
that was neat.
based on your stats. Yeah. That's cool, but at the same time, it's like I could jump there. Like, what are we doing here?
That's the crazy thing. And then like seeing that all 3 games have some focus on driving, I'm like, why?
I don't know why driving is still in that game.
You know what? Here's the thing. Playing it really just made me want to play Saints Row 4. That's all it did. Saints Row 4 is the better Crackdown. Saints Row 4 is the better Crackdown.
I think so.
Right, that's all I'm playing
for sure.
Other than Infinite Pacross.
All right, I got a new phone, so I've been going back to play some mobile games. I finally played through all of Next Stop Nowhere, which is the most recent, not the most recent? Yeah, the most recent. Oh, what is that studio called that did After Party and Oxenfree? 8 School Studios. Most recent game. It's on Apple Arcade. Game's fine if you're looking for a narrative-focused adventure game. It's fine. It's kind of buggy in its user face and whatnot, so it's definitely not their best one. I still think Oxenfree is probably their best one. I started out the Pathless, another Apple Arcade game. This is also on it was a PS5 launch title. I hear this game's great. This is by the Abzu developers.
This is the Falcon one, right? Where you like throw.
There's a Falcon. It's not like focused on the Falcon.
Okay.
You might be thinking of the Falconeer. Isn't that a game that came out somewhat recently?
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah.
You might also be thinking of Falcon Age.
Ugh. All right.
So I would not. I'm going to say this is not the Falcon one that
Okay.
you're probably thinking of.
All right.
This one is the movement is too fast for touch controls, so I have not really played more than about 45 minutes with this. It does have controller support, so I do plan to sync a controller to it and play more of it. I just didn't have that around on me the one night I was playing some Pathless. So I hear the Pathless is really cool, though. I'm going to get back to it some more.
Cool.
I jumped into Fall Guys Season 3 yesterday because that came out.
Yep.
I can say they fixed a lot of problems from Season 2. Specifically, there is a custom game mode you can just play that is only new stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Want to see the new stuff and only the new stuff? Play this one, which that was my big gripe with Season 2. I still think with Season 2, there's a few levels I haven't seen because they just mixed them in there and then gave you the middle finger.
That's really funny.
One kind of weird thing about this one, though, it seems like I'm not sure how many new levels there actually is, but they're all in the same order when you play this game mode. So when it does its little like roulette thing of, oh, what you gonna get? It's like, why are you fucking with me? I know it's gonna be this one. It's always this one. What?
Yeah.
Think I'm like 4 years old? Fight me.
Well, I mean, because some games only work with like over 40 or like 40 or whatever, over 20 certain like numbers left.
So I think there might actually be only 4 stages: a first stage, a second tier stage, one third tier stage, and one fourth tier stage.
Yeah, probably.
So I think it's a really good like 30 minutes you're gonna get with Season 3 before you're like, okay, I have played the new first stage 8 times. I have played the new second stage 8 times. I played the new third stage 4 times, and I played the new fourth stage twice. Seen it all. Thank you for a great 30 minutes, Fall Guys. I will see you in 2 to 3 months.
2 months, yeah. Yeah.
The new stages are good, though. They got some fun new design. Specifically, that second stage is a constant slide where you have to go off these jumps and get through rings.
Yeah.
And then once you get to the bottom of the slide, you warp back to the top, and it's just who can get 15 points first. The first 20 people. So that's new. That's cool. The third stage is like a big tower that everyone starts in like a big ring on the outside, and they have to get to the top of the tower, and the top like 10 or whatever move on. That's a cool stage too. The first stage is fine because there's just a lot of weird things like big punching fists will come out and knock you around. A lot of good like springs that just shoot you off the stage that are fun to experience. And then the final stage is a twist on the hexagon one, which is the best final stage in my opinion. So I'm glad they're like, let's make a new thing like that.
Sure.
But now it's ice cracking below you.
Well, that's pretty good. Okay.
And they're all stacked really on top of each other, so it's not like you fall down an area. So it's like if the thing cracks below you, you can still kind of jump up onto a higher ledge or push people into like pits, kind of. So I think Fall Guys Season 3, a fantastic 30 minutes. It's free, so go have a good 30 minutes. I think after 30 minutes, you're going to be done. All I wanted to say is Season 2 was awful. And I'm glad they reworked some stuff for Season 3.
Sure.
The game I've been playing the most of this week is 13 Sentinels. It is my goal to get through that game before I head north for the holiday break, which I did the math meant I have to play 3 hours a day of this game every single day before I leave. So far, I've been doing it. So I am about 21 hours into that game. I've played a lot of that game.
I like this fundamental difference in this game that we have. You're like, I have to play 3 hours a day. I'm like, I just played 12 hours of this game nonstop. I couldn't stop playing it.
All right. So,
I can't,
so while I was gone for the week, you guys just fucking went crazy on this. What happened here? Why did this suddenly become the thing that you two just jammed through suddenly?
Well, I bought it and then Paul copied me, so
obviously, yeah.
That I don't know.
Yep, that's what happened.
I got into a thing where I was like, I want to finish my PlayStation games before the end of the year because I'm not taking the PlayStation up with me. That thing is,
yeah.
I don't know if I could even move it. It's so huge.
Yep.
Like it's basically a part of the apartment at this point.
Yeah. Built into the wall.
Yeah, like when I move, it's staying here, and that is a feature of the apartment. The next owner can look forward to.
Yeah.
So I wanted to wrap up all my PlayStation stuff because I'm taking the Xbox up with me. So that's just why I got to jam through this. But it's like a 36-hour game. Get all the storylines and whatnot. I will say playing this at the same time as the Somnium Files, which the Somnium Files is actually from the VLR guy.
Yeah.
I feel like so far 13 Sentinels is more of a follow-up because it's got flowcharts on top of flowcharts on top of flowcharts on top of flowcharts.
It has a lot of different pathing, yeah, for sure.
That's for sure. I still think the battle mode is just unnecessary, and every time I have to do it, I'm just like, okay, well, let's just get through these next 2 hours so I can get back to what I actually want, which is the visual novel. So it's almost hard for me to like recommend this game to fans of visual novels because it's like, look, you're going to be stuck doing this whole combat thing, and the combat is fine. Like it's fun enough. It doesn't seem very throwaway. It's surprisingly deep.
It's very deep. Yeah.
How small of a percentage compared to the rest of the game it is. I just don't think it was needed. Like, just make that its own game or something, and that would have. But either way, got some good music. I was just saying that that final boss fight on Area 1 music is an absolute jam. So look forward to that if you're playing it. Other than that, though, I'm liking going through the character stuff quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite character? Without giving away spoilers.
Oh. Natsuno Minami, probably.
Okay, she's the track girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of like story development, I thought Shoes had some pretty crazy moments and reveals in that one. Shu Amaguchi.
Sure. I will say there's only maybe like one character that doesn't have a bunch of crazy reveals. So like they're just kind of part of it. They have like a cool,
okay.
I mean, whatever. It's Yuki, but like her thing with the cat is great. Like it's not like a lot of crazy reveals, but every time you play as a like story, it's just like, this is weird. And it connects them all kind of.
Sure. There's a pretty good one with the two military guys talking about new food.
It's my favorite part. Like hamburger. Oh,
hamburger, and
I gotta see what won that poll that I put up.
What's the other one? The
yakisoba pan.
Yakisoba pan. Yeah, and I like that section even has like its own music that kicks in when they're talking about it. So that was a pretty good moment. Anyway, yeah, I'm enjoying that game. It's scratching those itches that I was hoping it would, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to finish it on time. I haven't played much tonight, but I have to hit my quota after this show.
My quota.
Do you recommend that I try it out? Because I think I bought it before either of you, but you know it's me, so I never touched it.
Right.
Do you like sci-fi things?
You know, you don't strike.
Yeah, I love sci-fi.
Yeah, you should play it. It's like every sci-fi idea put into one game.
Story's cool. I don't see you playing a lot of visual novels, though, and this is a visual novel.
Him and Reese, this would be a great game for them to play together, because it's kind of just like watching a movie.
Yeah, that actually might be a good idea, because we don't really have anything we're playing through at the moment. So
this would be perfect for it. Just
keep
in mind,
we were thinking of
It is
we were
36
debating
hours.
digging into Like a Dragon. So,
yep.
I understand that game is literally 80 hours long.
Yep.
Probably.
It is
RPG.
by far the longest Yakuza game.
No, 80 is not the longest Yakuza game.
Okay, well, I'm just saying for what I was hearing is Yakuza games are long, and this is the longest one.
Main story 46 hours, completionist 93 and a half. That is still 40 hours shorter than completionist on Yakuza 0.
Weird. Okay.
Yikes.
Well, I heard wrong.
Yeah, Yakuza 0, 31 for story, so it's shorter story-wise, but if you do everything, it's long.
Sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, you'll probably enjoy it, but again, it is a visual novel, so don't expect, all the combat from Yakuza to be there. Like I said, the combat parts in this part is like not even 10% of this game.
I mean, I know it's Vanillaware, and they're enjoyable. They do enjoyable stuff. That's why I picked it up, because it was Vanillaware.
Weirdly enough, Vanillaware gameplay stuff is always super, super fun. This is definitely them being like, the gameplay's fine. It's the story that we wanted to work on this time around. Like, rather than like mechanics and stuff. But yeah, I love it.
It honestly seems like, hey, we're working on a visual novel, and then some like Skunkworks team was like, hey, we made this like kind of cool little mini game. Can we put it in your thing? And they were like, sure. Okay. I guess so.
I do like
figure out a way to put it.
I do like the combat. I think he's being a little overly reductive about it, but I understand because it's
but he's also rushing through the game.
That's the thing, is that if you're trying to just get the story's better. I love the combat though. I think it's still fun.
Combat sections are fine. I'm not grueling my way through it. I just think as a whole, it just kind of just seems unnecessary for what the game is.
Sure. And you kind of put yourself on a timer with it, so like I understand kind of not wanting to do that stuff and just
luckily the combat's not hard. I'm playing on normal difficulty. I even thought to myself, like, should I just knock this down to easy so I can get through it real fast? I don't even need to do that. Like, it's pretty even rare that I need to like heal my units. Yeah. And that's it for all I played. So let's do some news. We mentioned it a little briefly earlier, but let's talk about all the weird shenanigans going on with Cyberpunk.
Oh my god.
Which is a lot. There's
been a lot.
Yeah.
I've been kind of following over at Vice Games. Patrick Klepek has kind of been reporting on like every instance of it, but this kind of basically started with this week people wanting refunds on Cyberpunk, specifically the console ports. People arguing, you didn't show off what these console ports are. These console ports are pretty broken. Can we get refunds?
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red basically came out and said, yes, get it, go for it. You can have a refund, do it. Which left a lot of the storefronts and whatnot saying, what? That's not how things work.
We have no deal with you. What are you talking about? Like, yeah.
What is happening? So CD Projekt Red basically announced this initiative that doesn't exist, and then as such, companies like Sony basically are getting. Sony specifically is kind of the one coming to the top because I think they're being the most like pushing back against these statements. They're getting kind of all the flack over CD Projekt Red kind of sicking the community on them.
Yeah, super not fair. I mean, I hate fucking sticking up for Sony. Super not fair to Sony, for sure.
Yeah, but you know what Sony did back, right?
Yeah.
Right, so moving up a few days, pretty much like about 2 hours ago, Sony said, right, we're taking it off the store, and you can no longer buy Cyberpunk on the PlayStation Network. This is pretty crazy. I can't think of very many games that have been pulled off of the PlayStation Network before over something like this.
Also, they are offering a refund for people that bought it. They did cave.
So the statement from Sony Interactive Entertainment, I'll just read it here for you. Cyberpunk 2077 refunds. SIE strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store. SIE will also be removing Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation Store until further notice. Once we have confirmed that you purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store, we will begin processing your refund. Please note that the completion of the refund, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy. I think this is kind of like a power move on Sony's part, being like, all right, if Cyberpunk, if you're going to send them to us saying they can get their refunds, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to say that your game is too broken to be sold.
They might.
I think that's
right.
kind of.
They might.
I think that's kind of the big thing coming into the question is, how did Cyberpunk get through certification in this state?
Yeah.
Well, apparently that was another thing that Patrick reported on. I think it was saying they apparently just promised Microsoft and Sony that they were going to work on it, and then they never did.
Right. Well, whether it's never worked on it or just didn't have enough time to do it, and that's kind of bringing this whole conversation. Yeah, this is there's a whole conversation kind of going on right now in the community of like, who's at fault? Paul, you said the game needs like another year, 80% done. Is this, managers pushing
I'm playing
to
the
get
best
it out?
case scenario for it, and I think it needs another year. So I can't imagine. Honestly, at some point, I kind of wish they had been like, listen, we know we're going to offer you refunds for your pre-orders, and we know it sucks. This won't run on PS4, my dudes. It just won't. Like, we can't do it. I'm sorry. Here's your refund. I think that would have garnered less hate than what's going on now, if they were a little more upfront about that, at least.
But like, I think with the work, they could have made it work.
Well, they couldn't make it work because they were already on a tight deadline, and the game's not done.
But like the thing is, even like the next gen versions are just the last gen version running on a more powerful hardware. That's all that really is. Like, it's not even optimized for like the 5 and the X.
True, but they.
I don't.
What I'm saying is that they shouldn't have.
For that, tons of games.
They shouldn't have released it on
tons of games don't have
that couldn't run it
yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I wouldn't knock them for not having the next gen ports done at this point. Many games don't have those out yet. Avengers had to push theirs back to next year. Destiny just got it last week. I think the more part is like these games are running; they're just extremely buggy. And then I think there's something to say about just how different they look and how low they look compared to kind of what we were being shown the whole time.
Yeah. At that point, it's kind of like, I understand that. This was kind of the Watch Dogs thing too, where E3 they showed it running on a supercomputer with everything enabled, and then they dumbed down the PC version, pissed off a bunch of PC gamers so that it was on par with the console version. Like, it's a lose-lose situation when you dumb anything down or whatever. Honestly, I just think that they should have just said it's not going to run on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Sorry. The hardware just cannot support it.
I mean, there's no way they could have done that. They'd be losing out on probably the majority of their sales, I would have to assume, are coming from those two platforms.
They're definitely losing on it now, and they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, well, you're gonna when you're advertising your game, you're gonna want to show it in its best possible light. You're gonna want to show it on the most powerful PC you got.
Accounted for 59% of Cyberpunk's sales so far.
Okay.
So they wouldn't have lost most of, but they would have lost. I mean, they are losing a huge portion. And worse, do you think console gamers are ever going to trust CD Projekt Red again after this? Most fucking PC people aren't trusting them, and the console and their version works, kind of.
Or like, are you asking me? Are the people who are the most upset going to buy Witcher 4? Because yes, I'm going to say it. Of course they are.
Oh yeah, I mean, like at this point, people are going to forget, and it's going to happen all over again, because that always happens in this industry.
I think a part of this is just people getting upset because gamers love to get upset whenever they have the chance, and they like to yell.
They definitely deserve to be upset about having a product that doesn't run on their system when it was, especially console gamers. That's the reason to get a console, right? You put the game in, it works. You don't have to deal with
it's supposed to be reliable.
You don't have to deal with INI files or like setting tweaks like I do. Like I know what I'm getting into with a game like this. Console, you should just be able to load it up and it's there. It works.
I mean, I think this is more a cautionary tale of stop pre-ordering games. There's no good reason to pre-order a game.
Yeah, because didn't they break like some crazy record with like 8 million pre-orders or something like that?
I mean, like, it's great for the developer to be able to say that, and the publisher being like, look how many pre-orders we got. But like, as a consumer, the fact that we can preload games before we buy them, I know, at least I know you can do that on Xbox. That's the only argument I would have for pre-ordering a game, is so I could preload it and play it at the minute one. But the fact that I can now preload, then purchase it when it's out, and then immediately play, there's no reason to pre-order a game. Totally. And I think it is fair for Project Red to show their game in the best possible light, and if they're not showing what the console ports look like, I think that is then on the consumer to ask why, and to then maybe not pre-order the console version until it's out.
But like, they're trusted devs, though. That's the thing. This is like a AAA company just being like, yeah, whatever.
At what point is it the consumer's fault?
There's not really precedent for that.
They purposefully didn't give console versions for review out early. Like, at what point?
Well, again, I don't think that's I think that's just another like red flag that the console person should just know about. And I feel like, you know, the average person's not going to know that kind of stuff, right?
Right. The average person will definitely not know that.
They've seen all the there was a huge marketing budget for this, so they're seeing all the commercials. They're seeing it during, you know, football and basketball, and they're like, "Yo, I love Keanu Reeves, John Wick. That's my guy." Holy smokes!
To be fair,
I'm never harder.
I don't feel bad for anybody that bought this game just because Keanu Reeves is in it. They're a special kind of person that is like, well, you knew what you were getting into. He's still in the game, so you got what you wanted.
Hey, he was a huge part of the marketing. Like he definitely helped this game for sure. But I think at some points, like, a consumer, you gotta do a bit of research. Like, you can't just be that blind.
I agree, but what you're describing and what I would like as well is a utopia that doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I'm with Paul on this one. Like, there's no way, like, no matter what, CD Projekt Red fucked up here. Like, there's no questioning that.
Right. Well, I mean, I think there's fuck ups on both sides, but for sure, like, I think the biggest issue here is they put out a broken game because investors and shareholders pushed. They needed this game out because they wanted the sales for this quarter, yada, whatever the reason was.
Yep.
I'm sure there are plenty of devs that were like, look, we can't, you have to stop. Don't put it out. It is so broken. And them saying, we'll just fix it later. The industry lets us fix it later. And that's kind of the thing, is like, when games come out broken and then get fixed later, no one cares. No one cares that No Man's Sky almost seemed like basically a lie when that came out. No one cares anymore, right?
Back then, yeah, like, people don't remember. I remember what that shit show is like. Yeah, but yeah, nobody remembers that anymore, for sure, because it's a full game now.
Like,
yeah,
I'm sure, you know, 6 months from now, a year from now, this will be a whole thing in the past, and anyone who probably refunded it, they probably bought it again at a cheaper price.
Sure.
Yeah, I think you're not. I think you're correct on this one. Yeah.
Yep.
But it still sucks no matter what.
It does.
Yeah,
you're right. I can almost guarantee. I can see it next year. Next year, there's going to be a Game of the Year edition of Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
I can almost guarantee it. If not next year, like the year after.
And you know what? It'll deserve it when that game's fully done.
Yeah.
That's kind of the other thing is, like, I'm sitting here being like, should I wait a month to play it? Because, like, I'm not having a bad time, but I'm gonna have a better time in a month easily. I can guarantee I will be playing a better game in a month. I think, like, so it's. I think this is just yet another example of shouldn't pre-order games. Games keep coming out more and more broken every year. This just happens to be getting so much attention because they put a huge spotlight on themselves.
It's the big one, yeah. Yep. For
So
sure.
it's just
This was the one that everyone was pointing at as being like the one that was a shoe-in for like game of the year this year.
Yep.
This was the one they expected.
They had a huge marketing budget, so that's just why it's getting this kind of attention. If this was if this was a much smaller game, Sony would not be taking it off the shelves and putting up this kind of thing.
I don't think that decision came lightly either. Otherwise, they would
no
have
way.
done it right away, not wait like a day or two or whatever. I think that was one that went through some real executives making the decision.
But for all we know, like when CG Projekt Red came to them and said, "Here's our list of bugs. This is what we're going to fix," Sony and Microsoft bent a few of the rules and said, "Well, normally we would send you guys back and be like, you can't do it, but we're going to make so much money off of your game.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll look the other way, but you do promise to fix it, right? Like, you come on, hey, we're buddies, right?" Like, who know? I'm sure that's probably a scenario where that happened as well.
Yeah.
I think it's just this kind of shows a good thing of like, this is why press get games early. When press don't get games early, that's a sign of something. You know, when movies do not get advanced screenings, that's often a sign of something. Like,
do you think this is going to be a wake-up call and a bit of a signal to people about like early access games and stuff like that? Or do you think this lesson just goes completely ignored like a month from now?
I think early access is kind of a different thing because it's baked in with the idea of it's broken now. That's the whole point.
The same logic of like that. Like, sure, early access itself is essentially like demo access to it. But like,
I think they'd only be similar if CG Projekt Red came out and said, "Here is the early access edition of Cyberpunk 2077." I think then it's a similar thing. They came out saying, "Here it is. We're gonna have so much fun."
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. I agree with you, especially in this day and age where you can literally go on Twitch the day a game releases and see what you're getting into for an hour or whatever. YouTube, I mean, game critics have existed for fucking ever. There's like reason, like you should just wait at least till the day of, see what people that you trust are saying about the thing, and then maybe make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're going in blind, you know, putting down the whole price,
it's scary
early. Then I think you are saying,
I'm okay with this.
I am getting whatever comes out. And the marketing has said to me, I'm going to be getting this, and like, you know, so you're putting your trust out there. And I would hope for some people it makes them think next time, maybe I will wait, because I kind of got burned on Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
I think that's just a good a good decision for consumers. That making yourself a more educated consumer is good for you. And like you said, like it is so easy to just go to whatever website and read a couple paragraphs that even less. So, you know, go to Twitch, like you said, it's so easy. When we were kids, though, it's way harder to find that kind of information. It was, you know, Twitch didn't exist.
I mean, that's why console wars existed, because you had to justify the purchase or the Christmas gift you got to your friends who got the better thing. Like, because you didn't have that info. There's no excuse now. I have a fucking computer in my pocket all day, and then if I don't know if something's going to be good or not, I can actually just look it up quickly and be like, oh, that looks awesome. Okay, I will buy this or whatever. So, I don't know. I don't think there's any reason anymore to get into this, but I know how consumers are. They get involved in the hype train, and that's what it is that people were hyped about this game. If this was the best game ever made, it wouldn't have lived up to the hype it generated for itself. Like, if it was legit one of the best games ever made, it still wouldn't have lived up to the hype. It was bound to fail on that regard no matter what. The fact that it's a buggy game just kind of pours salt in that wound, though. Like, it's really not good. I don't know. Such a bummer. I'm gonna...
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll keep following it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it kind of evolves over the next few months.
I'm gonna move on because we didn't put this here, but they got under fire for another thing where they were... So there was a game that came out a year ago, 2 years ago, that it was called Devotion. It was a first-person horror game made by some Taiwanese developers, and in it, you play like a Chinese guy dealing with like grief over his dead daughter or something. I can't remember what it was. It's something like this. And you're kind of walking around an apartment.
I don't think it was Chinese.
It is 100% Chinese.
That's
Because
neither here nor there.
the reason why it was taken off the market is because it called the Chinese government stupid Winnie the Pooh or something and was censored.
Yeah.
Which is why it came off Steam.
Am I thinking it was like Taiwanese or something?
The
Anyway,
developer is
I'm just-
Taiwanese. The game is set in China. Yeah.
Okay.
So they pulled it, and the developer said, like, we're gonna try to re-release this without the things in it and blah blah blah, and it just kind of died from there. Well, this year, just a few days ago, apparently it was supposed to come to GOG, which is run by CD Projekt Red, for people who might not know, GOG.com, or Good Old Games as it used to be called, and they kind of 180'd on that decision right away when they realized that this would probably fuck over their Chinese goodwill. So they just pulled that game as well. I don't know. It's weird because it's like they can totally choose to not do this. It just seems weird that they decided to choose to not do it after it was announced.
Yeah. And also the same week that Cyberpunk was having issues. It's just like, this is just
Yep.
This was already a bad day for that company, and now it's just even worse.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, I think it's the most wish listed game now on GOG. It's full of reviews of people just telling like CDPR that they're just like bowing to China. It's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not good. Obvious weird PR move where their game is doing really, really poorly. They didn't want any more bad PR, and they Streisand affected it by getting bad PR for trying to not get bad PR in China. What do you do? Anyways, I think that's it for the CD Projekt Red hour.
In equally important news, it was announced last week that Vin Diesel, who is now serving as an executive producer on Arc 2, has logged over 1,000 hours in the original Arc, and I thought that was worth noting.
Yeah, that's why
he's a gamer. He's actually a gamer.
That's why he's in the trailer. Also, apparently, he's not in the game. He's just in that trailer to sell it. So that's
weird, really.
Yeah, he is in the anime apparently because everybody is. But
everyone's in the anime. I just thought out of all the games, Arc and 1,000 hours was. I took a double take for him though.
Yeah, no, he's definitely in there.
The new Mortal Kombat movie that I am still surprised exists is coming out in April.
They gave a date. Yes. Okay.
Well, no, because it was supposed to be in January.
Was it? Oh fuck.
Yeah, it got bumped.
There's no trailer for this, right?
I don't think
this is the live action one, right? If so, no.
This seems so soon. But anyways, April 16th. It'll be in theaters, and it's also part of everything coming to HBO Max. So hell yeah, for me.
Yeah, fuck going to a theater.
EA Play being added to PC Game Pass has been delayed until next year. I don't know why. That's weird.
Maybe for their financials, because it's probably the.
It was added to Xbox Game Pass.
It's the only thing that they get on PC anymore, I'm sure. For their thing.
Yeah, maybe. There was a Nindies stream. Not much came out of this, in my opinion.
Take a look.
But Spelunky 1 and 2 are coming to Switch.
Okay.
The one more thing was that Among Us is now on Switch.
Yeah, I bought it. I played a bit of it. It's that game, like the PC version.
I mean, there was no questioning that.
It was nothing new. Yeah.
The same price as the PC version.
Yep.
$5.
Yep.
But there's no DLC in it, I believe.
No, none.
Which is all cosmetic, anyways.
Yep.
Well, they did announce that new map coming.
Yes.
The Game Awards.
Yep.
Super Meat Boy Forever is a console launch exclusive on the Switch.
Makes sense.
So like Grindstone is coming to the Switch. That's a great Apple Arcade game. It's $20, which I was a little surprised to see, but okay.
Yeah. Excited for Cyber Shadow though. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it finally has a date, and it's still at least a month away.
Yep.
And then a bunch of new kind of indie stuff worth checking out.
Yeah.
If you're into that. Stadia is now on iOS.
Great.
They did the whole you have to play it in a Safari browser thing. What it's worth, I've also been told Stadia is the best way to be playing Cyberpunk right now, which is a weird sentence.
Finally, their time to shine.
Yep. This happened just before our show as well. They casually announced a League of Legends MMO.
Yeah. A dude who used to be a GM or something at Blizzard for WoW that moved to Riot just like casually tweeted like, hey, we got something massive coming. Somebody was like, is it an MMO? He's like, yes, it's an MMO.
Okay. This is Greg Street.
Great announcement.
Ghost Crawler or something, right?
So that was a weird kind of thing. Ghost Crawler is the Twitter account for the guy. All right, this last little bit of news is another weird one. Polygon did an interview with Doug Bowser, the head of Nintendo. Asked a few questions, specifically also asked, yo, what's up with these games disappearing on March 31st?
Oh, okay.
Bowser gave the most non-answer I think I've basically seen.
Great.
Let me scroll to finding it. Okay, so the question basically comes up of like, I'll try and read some of the quotes here. Interviewer: I wanted to specifically talk about a strategy that Nintendo is doing with Switch Online regarding the sunsetting. I don't know what the exact terminology is, but effectively games that are no longer available after March 31st, 2021. What is the logic? Why is that good for consumers? Bowser says a few things. Main thing is, yeah, I think I use a simple word, celebration. This is a celebration of Mario's 35th anniversary. That's basically it. He then talks about all the games that Mario brought out this year and is coming out with next year.
Yep.
Polygon reiterates. Yeah, and the celebration aspect, I totally get. Obviously, you have gone whole hog on releasing amazing Mario games this year. I just don't understand the consumer side of it, where someone who buys a Switch in June of next year is just never going to be able to buy those games. I just don't see the upside, quite honestly. And Bowser responds, yeah, at this point, the decision was really made around that celebration feature and aspect. Can't speak to plans beyond the end of March.
Yeah. I think what he actually means is Japan be crazy. I don't know, dog. I would sell it forever if it was me.
That does reek of like, yeah, I can't say shit because someone higher up than me made the decision.
Yeah.
But that also might be us giving them too much credit at this point. Who the hell knows?
Nintendo I don't know. Like, I feel like when they make this decision, they know in the future you're going to be asked about it. Let's have an answer for you, as opposed to just celebrating Mario. Okay, what?
Yeah.
Well, when you have a birthday party, you can't enjoy it after the birthday party. So as a result, we're taking it away after the birthday party.
True.
Yeah, I don't. Thank you, Doug Bowser. Public service announcement to pick up your copy of first Fire Emblem before it's too late.
Oh, right.
Ugh. And like, listen, I don't think Mario 35 is the coolest thing ever made. It's cool, but not like awesome or anything. There's no reason to take that off. Like, let people enjoy that forever.
There really is not. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, frustrating.
Why don't we do some questions?
Okay.
If you want to send in a question, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. Are all great ways to send questions in. These first two come from Suku Suku. What would you want to see in a Super Mario RPG remake?
I mean, if you're going straight up as a remake of Super Mario RPG, like more moves.
Yeah.
More moves, a better translation, more areas, because I mean, technically, Super Mario RPG itself is short. But I would almost rather see a sequel than a remake at this point.
Sure.
Okay.
Would you want them to go like real time,
which...
like they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake?
No, I think that honestly, half the appeal of Super Mario RPG is the fact that it's so new player friendly.
Yeah,
by being like, all right, just take your turn.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Okay.
All right, second question, which I do not understand, but I'll read it anyways.
It's a meme.
Have you ever slapped a bag of rice or soil on compulsion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know why, but I've definitely walked by like
just felt compulsed to do it. That's it.
Just like a bunch of soil in like a bag or whatever at a Walmart or something, and just give it the old smack. Old smackaroo. Happens, man. Okay. Life comes at you fast.
I can hear my girlfriend is playing Fall Guys right now because she is swearing at the TV.
Speaking of swearing at the TV, Decoy Troy writes in and says, if your country's government were to ban loot boxes, what do you think the gaming industry would try to replace them with to make as much or nearly as much money?
If I knew this answer, I'd be living in a way better apartment.
That's true. You would be a marketing genius at that point. There are people whose jobs are dedicated to figuring this out right now. Like this minute, people are trying to figure this solution out.
Yep. It's always like the story of like when Blizzard hired like psychologists.
Yeah.
For their game development. That was a turning point.
Yep.
It's gonna be the person whoever figures out like how to convince people to just rent things, but not like in the Stadia level.
Oh, you mean like Game Pass?
Sort of. But I mean like just say renting like boosters and just like items in a game versus like the entire game.
Sure.
That kind of like when you buy like a timed, basically when you buy a timed booster.
Yeah, essentially.
The next 24 hours, you're gonna get double XP.
Yeah, stuff like that.
So are we just thinking like more microtransactions that are kind of grosser?
Yeah.
The generic answer.
I don't know. Like I feel like we're all kind of trending towards less mystery, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing because mystery equals gambling, essentially.
Yeah. So it's just like old school DLC, just horse armor.
Like, this is a super unpopular take. I don't mind paying extra if I think something's really, really cool in a game. Like, Heroes of the Storm, before they added all this loot box and crafting bullshit, you could literally just buy, like, a cool skin for $15. And every now and then I would, because I liked it. I'm okay with that. I knew what I was getting, and that transaction was done. I'd be okay with more of that. Of just, like, not them trying to trick me into something. Just, like, giving me the option to buy something that's neat and maybe putting some effort into it.
I don't like the random element. Like, let me buy what I want.
Yep.
I'll have to try and, like, hope I get it.
Sure.
All right. Dead Sky says, let's go wholesome. Are you able to say a nice thing about each of your co-hosts, potentially something you admire or respected in them? And if so, what is the compliment?
Nope.
I knew it. I'll say this: Sean is the fact that this podcast is still here is so much like
Sean is annoyingly tenacious in a way that I don't think I've ever met another person about certain things, which is something I both respect and get annoyed about. This was a high school project.
This was a high school project for Sean, and it's still going.
I don't mean to be annoying. I hope I'm not.
No, you're not annoying. I'm just saying,
not annoying. I'm saying that like you're stubborn in a way that it's fun to argue with at some points, and I think that like I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to you about games, even though we disagree a lot on a lot of shit.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I definitely both value the differing opinions that each of you bring, the different perspectives that you can definitely bring. John's perspective from games is crazy. I don't know many other people on their way to buying a museum.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
I was waiting.
I was about to say,
yeah.
This is super awkward because you can tell we're all holding back on saying something right now.
Like,
We've
where's the meme?
To say about everyone else.
I was waiting for Sean to say the meme. It's like, which one is he going to go with? Oh, the museum.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, no, like, it's not hard. I value both of their opinions, even though we disagree a lot on some things. But, like, I think it's nice having a thing where I talk to two good friends every week, and that's super, super fun. I mean, John and I have known each other for a long time now, and I think we agree on a lot of, like, weird retro-ish sort of things, and it's all, like, I always value his opinion on older games and stuff, where I know that I can talk to Sean about basically any new game, and he has like an opinion on it, and even if we disagree, I think it's a good conversation, and I really respect talking to him about certain things. That's why I like.
And I mean, the fact that we're also having fun with the show makes it easy to do for so long, because like if we weren't enjoying it, we would just stop. But
yeah,
sure.
Like a good catch up each week. It would also, this point, if I wasn't doing this each week, it would be like something is missing. Like it's like ingrained at this point for me, because I've done this for like 11, 12 years or whatever it is.
Sure.
I just have my Thursday night backs. What?
Yeah, I was like, this is why it's such a statement to like the lasting power of this. It's just like, it's been so long, and Sean could have just dropped it like right after he was done with school, and he's just like, fuck it, this is fun, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, with both guys, like I know I can ask them like, yo, what do you think of this game? And I will get an honest opinion from it. Like I don't expect any bullshit. Like I expect him to take shots at me like Sean constantly does. But
man, you gotta keep the people around you on their toes. You can't let them get too comfortable.
True.
That's just life advice.
I know that I'm not gonna get like no bullshit answers basically if I actually need help with stuff. So yeah.
Sure.
All right, second question. Someone I know just got Apple Arcade and is finding the games to be mediocre. Which of them would you recommend?
All right, go on, Sean. I'm going to take a break.
So you can start first, and I'll jump in with whatever you miss.
Well, I have no answers, but I want to ask, like, how was the Way Forward Contra-like game that they put up near launch? Not Shantae, but like, there's an Apple Arcade exclusive. I can't remember what it's called. But also, Shantae and the Seven Sirens is on there, so there's my answer.
There you go. Yeah, I got to see what's on there.
I don't think I played that Contra
game. Spider-Saurus, that sounds right.
Read off what I did. Someone asked this kind of in the general chat on Discord, and I answered it there.
Is probably one of mine.
I want to say my answers here as well. So the ones I had written down: Sayonara Wild Hearts is fantastic.
Oh yeah, okay.
Grindstone, very good. The Pathless is on there. I haven't played a ton of it yet, but I've been told it is also fantastic. Mini Motorways, I love Mini Metro, and that's a sequel to that game. What the Golf, as I already said, is really good. Everyone on this podcast likes What the Golf.
Yep.
If you like the Reigns game, there's a new one, Reigns Beyond. It's like a space age one. That one's more Reigns. Game of Thrones Tale of Crows is kind of a weird idle game that I think is pretty unique and kind of interesting. So I think that's worth checking out. Card of Darkness is good. Bleak Sword is a cool little action game. I've talked about Tangle Tower. That is a really fun and very well voice acted adventure game. Neocab is very good. Assemble with Care, really just enjoyable kind of chill game by the people who did Monument Valley. Amanita Design has multiple games on there, so if you like adventure games like Samrost or Machinarium, they have some few games on there. Us Two Games, the Monument Valley people, also just put out a new game called Alba, which was part of that Nindies direct, so it is coming to Switch, but that's on there as well. Apple Arcade is really, really great. Round Guard is on there.
Apple Arcade?
A new one. They made a new it's like Choo Choo Rocket Universe.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Man, that's a good service, actually. That's a lot. It is good,
and it's a lot of people overlook it. But a lot of really great indie games come there. They seem to come to Switch about a year later or so.
Sure.
A lot of the time, me too. But it's not worth it. I mean, it's definitely worth taking a look at.
Okay.
Right, next couple from VGC Kenny. With the last 2 console generations having a big old mess of a game in the launch window, Watch Dogs and Cyberpunk, do you think it would be more beneficial for third-party companies to not make games for a new console generation until things can settle in?
So what happened with Watch Dogs? I think I missed something here.
Their E3 demo showed like a really good PC version of the game, and then they couldn't get that on console, so they dumbed down every version to look the same, and it pissed PC gamers off.
Gross. So it was what you mentioned earlier. Okay.
Yeah, as the one who plays PC games, I don't really think I have an answer for this because I would like them to keep making games for my system.
Right. I think the main issue this happens is that those new systems are like a moving target for so long.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So it can be hard for devs to really lock down what they need or what they can do with the game.
Do you think it's better to build for the older system and then just like port it to the new one, even though it's not a huge graphical upgrade or anything, but like it works at least?
But keep in mind, like, it kind of is the same thing with like Cyberpunk, where like if you are there for the launch of a new system, you will make bank because you are one of the few options for that system.
That's true.
So that's why Ubisoft is always at a new generation launch.
That's true.
They are the most consistent company for being at the beginning of a launch.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to want at least one game with their console, otherwise they can't use it. So they're guaranteed to buy a game, and you want to hope it's yours for sure. That's all, but it's also the same for the exact same reason why they want to make it on both platforms, because you're going to be a bunch of people clamoring for the new system, but it's not going to be anywhere near as many as people who have the old system.
Yeah.
So if you want to sell a bunch, you're going to get most of your sales from that old system. So that's why we're going to continue getting cross-gen stuff for a while. So then with your option, John, of make it for the old one and then just port it over, but then it almost becomes a case
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Or did Paul say that one?
Yeah.
With that option, then it becomes a question of why am I buying the new one if I'm just going to be getting a slightly better one than my old console? Like, it seems like it's not worth me dropping $500 right now.
I mean, that's how I felt about Miles Morales, right?
Like, I mean, that's actually the truth about the current generations. It's not worth the cost.
But I understand. I think the hardware developers, they do incentivize developers to launch games around their console. They will help with like marketing and development costs because they need more stuff there. Like, look at Microsoft; they had no first party there.
Yeah,
they had to get as many partners on board as they could. So that part is beneficial for third parties. Hopefully, that pays for whatever porting or nonsense they have to go through to hit this moving target.
Yeah, I wonder.
I think it's kind of a weird chicken and egg problem. It's like, well, we need the games on there to want the console, but we need to want the console because of the games.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if it's a problem with the big marketed games, because Demon's Souls, as far as I can tell, is fucking amazing, and nobody's has said anything bad about it besides like the fact
I've
that
seen some crashing. That's about it. Yeah.
Like, so is it just because Cyberpunk was so big? Of course, that's a big old mess. Like, why isn't anybody talking about the games that are okay?
Well, Cyberpunk was was considered too big to fail, and then it still did. So everyone's just like, "Oh God,
yeah,
what do we do now?"
I mean, I think Cyberpunk is a bit of a unique scenario just because of how popular it was. Because there's tons of smaller examples like Destiny did not launch with an optimized version for a month later, right? So if I wanted to use my new console to play Destiny because I love Destiny, it made no sense for me to buy a new console before December 8th.
Sure.
So in this scenario, I should have waited. Like Avengers is not getting its update until next year. Apex is not getting its update until next year. Like, and that's kind of with a lot of the narrative around this console generation is there's not a lot super new to play right now. So there can be huge examples like Cyberpunk. There's also much smaller examples, like the optimized version is not there. So yeah, technically I am playing a PS4 game. Why aren't I just playing it on the PS4? That's definitely a valid argument for sure.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the reasons probably Dark Souls is running so well is that's a first party studio.
Yeah.
So they may have had some like real good assistance. Maybe the target was moving a little less because Sony was like next door to them, being like,
yeah, for sure, or like in the same
here's
office.
Everything we got.
Totally. Yep. Yeah. So no, I don't think it's more beneficial for third-party companies to not make games, but because they have to, like they want to be in that window for sure. I think they have to maybe it's on the onus for the actual console like companies to give them enough time to make a good product for their console launch.
But there's that. I understand this year those consoles came in hot.
Yeah.
With all of like the COVID and stuff.
This was a fucked up year for everything.
What I was also hearing, like the reason we didn't hear about the PlayStation's UI until so late is because it came in real hot before it was ready to be shown.
They were still programming it.
I'm sure they were, right?
Yeah.
Like so. I'm sure there's a line on a whiteboard in each one of these studios. Like, we could spend this much money to try and hit a port of it. How much is Microsoft giving us to hit a port of it? Is it above this line? Well, then it makes financial sense.
Yeah, and like for Insomniac's sake, maybe that's why Miles is so short, right? Because they were like, okay, we can make launch window. This game's going to be like 10 hours. But
I think actually with Miles, it was supposed to be DLC, that got big enough where they're like, we can make this a standalone thing.
Yeah.
Which I actually kind of like every time that they do that, because then you don't need the first game. I have the first game often, but it's just you get more people in that way, so why not? Like look at Doom's DLC. They straight up it's even like titled DLC that they just made standalone. And like why not?
Yeah.
Well, there's like no reason not to.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Second question from VGC Kenny. Did you go back in time and tell yourself, hey, don't buy a Wii U because pretty much all of the games you would like are coming to this other console that's a lot better?
No, I love my Wii U. It's not my fault that they didn't support it. I still liked games on it.
No, because that's what Nintendo does anyways, because of Virtual Console, and like I still needed the Wii U for work.
And that's kind of life. Like, there's always going to be something better. It's like, don't buy a TV because there's going to be better one next year.
I guess the idea,
if anything, I would go back and be like, hey, Nintendo's going to do exactly what you think. You got to have fun.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. I agree. Like, we got, 4 years the Wii U?
Yeah. And I mean, Mario Maker 1 didn't exist until last year. And, Monster Hunter, what was it, Try or whatever, still didn't come out in another form besides like the Wii one.
I like those games. I liked being
what's that? Was there a 3DS?
There was a 3DS port.
There might have been, yeah.
I like playing games when they come out, so clearly buy consoles when they first come out, so I would still buy it.
I like the Wii U. It's just
I also don't dislike the Wii U.
Yeah, like I liked it.
At the time, it was the best thing that had 2 screens and connects to my TV.
It was a neat idea. Yeah, I like the fact that you could play it and someone else could be using the TV, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be right next to your console.
This thing feels like garbage.
It really did, which is a bummer.
I liked Zombie U. I liked games that made me look down at the pad for something and then look back up to the TV to do other stuff. I liked the... I wish more things had taken advantage of one person can control the pad and fuck with the other players that are just like using controllers, which more stuff did stuff like that. Honestly, it had potential that was unrealized because they were busy releasing another console that they were going to work on or release everything on anyway.
Obligatory mention that Game & Wario is a great game.
Yeah, sure. And that will definitely never leave the Wii U.
Yeah. Boko writes in and says, what's a future you dislike seeing in games? Personally, I have a vendetta against any and all hunger mechanics.
Stamina.
Not vehicle, weapon degradation. I hate it.
Oh, yep, that too.
I'm with hunger mechanics. Stamina's a bummer. When that showed up in the most recent Assassin's Creed, I was like, oh man. Sucks.
I like stamina management. So I'm okay with it, but yeah, sure. One-hit kills have no place in any video game ever. They never did. They were only invented to suck quarters out of kids at arcades. They fucking suck in every game.
All right, Rinku says, who's a voice actor you've heard across a lot of games and other media and you can instantly recognize them? Nolan North.
Nolan North. Yep.
I thought it was Nolan North, and then I got that wrong with Miles. So I guess it's Troy Baker. I guess they have just merged together for me.
They're kind of the same.
They do
person.
a YouTube channel together, so it makes sense.
Sure.
Right on. I thought they didn't like each other. I thought that's what I had heard, but maybe they patched things up. Linebeck writes, what is the shortest notice that you've had to travel long distance, whether it be by flight or a long drive?
An hour
12
before.
hours.
12 hours before? Okay.
12 hours
And what
for
was yours,
flight.
Paul?
An hour before.
How far were these trips that you guys had?
5-ish hours.
I went to Jamaica.
Yeah, that one's really short.
Did you know about that you were going to Jamaica until 12 hours before you left?
One of my friends literally called me up at like noon and they're like, hey, John, you want to hang out in Jamaica this weekend? I'm like, sure. What's the catch? Or like, be at the airport at midnight with $100 and that's it.
That's a thing where you go, no, sir.
That well,
It just sounds like you're going to get
Well, that was
robbed
one of those like,
$100.
okay, I'm never going to have an experience like this ever again. I kind of have to try this one. And it
That's
was
a
a
cool
friend
story.
I trusted. So
that's one of those times where you're just like, this is male privilege right here. Not having to worry about showing up with a random dude with $100.
oh no, it was a woman who called me. So
oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Because it was like her and her life partner were just like, yeah, like he works at an airport and we've got like super discount tickets to Jamaica, so
Gotcha.
show up.
Cool.
Right on.
Okay.
It's your story.
So I had plans. I'm just like, yep, got to cancel plans because I'm going on a surprise trip that I didn't expect out of nowhere.
That's fun.
And then
That's
just got offered a lot of weed.
Okay. What's your story, Paul?
I mean,
Want to say it?
mine's not much. It's kind of a bummer after that. It's like, we don't know how much longer this person has to live, so you better come say goodbye.
Oof. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
All right.
So, thanks, Sean.
I said if you wanted to, you didn't have to. That's on you, man. I gave you the out. I don't think I've had anything that was that close. I was gonna say like, when I was coming over to CBS to get my visa, it was like, oh no, we need you to start like on Monday, book a trip right now. And I was like, well, guess I'm flying home in 2 days.
That was like a month ago, right? That was very short time ago.
No, that was when I was first coming over, like to GameSpot, when I was first coming over.
Okay.
Because I when I was job hunting, and then they're like, "Yep, we'll take you. Can you start Monday?" And I was like, mate, well, that's on you guys. Can you set up the visa stuff?" Anyway.
Yep. Oh, okay. Last question from Gutang Clan. Who is your favorite reindeer and why? There's 2 questions here.
Favorite reindeer. You guys ever watch all of the other reindeer?
I was going to say nobody can say olive. That's the cheap answer. You got to choose one.
Okay.
I would have figured Rudolph was also cheating.
No, Rudolph. I mean, he led the sleigh that
but
night.
Olive is a specific reindeer.
I mean, it was a joke that turned into a specific reindeer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that is a specific reindeer.
I'm gonna say Donner because his is like the most generic name sounding compared to everyone else's. Like Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, and Blitzen all sound like more extreme. He's got there's Donnie, there's Donner.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
Congrats on being able to name them all. Way to go. I don't know if I
You know, the only reason I can do that is because of the movie Jingle All the Way, because Arnold Schwarzenegger runs down the street saying that, and hearing him in his accent list off the 8 reindeer has permanently marked that in my brain. I will never forget that, because every time I can hear Dasha Danza Pranza Vixen Comic Cupid Donald Blitzen over and over, just running down the street.
That was the most John Wheeler sentence I've ever heard.
Yeah, that checks.
Yep.
That is 100% you. He probably goes by like Donald, right?
Probably.
Like
my friends call me Donnie.
Donnie, yeah. It's hard to beat Rudolph.
Yeah.
He was the underdog. He was the only one that, even though he was made fun of, could guide the sleigh that night.
He was the genetic mutation.
Yeah.
He's their X-Men.
Yeah, I love mutants.
It's true. Yeah. I don't have a great joke, so I'm gonna pass.
Okay. Second question is, what is your favorite Rankin Bass holiday movie? And it's easily The Year Without Santa Claus. Where else are you gonna get the snow and heat miser?
What are we talking about? What is Rankin Bass?
Shit.
They're
I thought, doesn't Heat Miser also when Santa Claus comes to town, or is that the Ice King?
That might be the Ice King.
Ice King is a character from Adventure Time.
No, well, there's like an Ice Miser or something like that. But yeah, no, I think Santa Claus coming to town's mine.
Okay. Rudolph is the one that people would probably be like, oh, hey, I remember that one because that's on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but...
Was that the puppet one?
Yeah, all of the Rankin Bass ones are the stop motion.
Well, I guess Frosty isn't, and that's Rankin Bass.
Was that as well? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, here's the better list that I would know. Okay. I've seen Frosty. I've seen Rudolph. I don't think I've ever seen The Year Without Santa Claus. I don't think I've heard of that.
That was a weird one. I'm surprised that would be your pick, Paul.
It's great. Santa Claus decides that nobody cares about him anymore and he's sick, so he's going to take the night off, and and they go out to show Santa Claus that he's still loved.
Yeah, basically like the world goes to hell because Santa got sick and didn't want to have a Christmas.
Oh, they did the Silverhawks cartoon? And Thundercats.
Why not?
They said holiday movie. Okay, I can't say Thundercats.
Do it anyways. Just say it.
Okay. The Last Unicorn.
He's still looking.
I guess it's by default. It's Rudolph, I guess. All right. That is it. If you would like to send a question in, it is topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. Your game of the week.
Hot Pursuit Remastered.
Feels weird saying Cyberpunk, but there we are.
You're enjoying it, you said.
I am.
Mine is 13 Sentinels.
Nice.
His job.
Yeah, basically. The submission thread on Patreon for January's TDP Plus game is now live. So if you're donating at that tier level, go submit a game to be on the poll next week. Also, the Community Game of the Year survey is still going. Definitely check that out. You can find links to it on our Twitter or our Discord. You have until January 4th to submit your Game of the Year lists and everything like that, as we will be tallying them up that week for the show, most likely at the end of that week. Until next week, see you guys later.
Bye.
Next week is Christmas. Oh man, look at that.
Yep.